Young people. Actually, I meant to say, grand rising young people. I don't know why I get that mixed up. I guess it's because I said good morning for so long, it just comes out automatically. And that's what I want to talk to you all about this morning. Some of the things that we do automatically. And you got to admit, good morning is one of them. Now, there's a problem with that. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to get 1,000 subscribers so I can get the donate button so I don't have to keep asking for somebody to get me a cup of coffee. Oh boy. Which I'm surprised at the amount of people that I've reached. Nobody's got me a cup of coffee yet. Well, that's all right. I'm a vet, so I can get my coffee for free at our convenience store. The problem is pulling it out. I mean, pulling into it, and then you got to get in line, and yeah, you. So since I'm not a person who shows up for work early, lots of times I don't have a chance to pull in there, take the 10, 15 minutes to go through the rigmarole because those NPCs will show up. I don't know what it is. Sometimes they show up before I do, and sometimes they show up after I do. Now, there's two things that you could be. You could be an NPC, non-player character, or you can be a MPC, a main player character. Okay. I just thought about that one the other day. I was talking to somebody and I was trying to explain to them that they are not an NPC. They are a MPC. It just came out. I'm just like that. All right. So uh, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to relearn everything. You're really not doing anything else. If anything, you're probably getting high. Okay, or I'm getting drunk, or going to work. Your mind is on other things. So what we want to do is get your mind on you. Okay, I need you to get your mind right. And I got to tell you, unless you're a sociopath or a psychopath or somebody under PTSD or something like that, there. Hey, Natalie. Okay. Did you read my title, or did my title pop up, or not? Because sometimes I'll put the title in first, Natalie, and then I'll start talking. I'm just an old man talking. It is the name of my channel, but what I'm trying to help people understand. Okay. Oh, thanks. Okay, so what I'm trying to get people to do on my channel is I just encourage people. So I'll go through my day, and I have to put a title on there because uh, that's just how YouTube works. Okay, so just join in, and I'm just listen and see where it goes. Okay, because I want to help. Okay, so the things you do. Okay, Natalie. Okay, so the things we do by habit. All right. Good morning is not a good thing to actually say. Believe it or not. Uh, I guess you could take any saying and you could make it good or bad. You can make a fact say whatever you want. So, since there are two things I'm going on, when you say good morning, it means one thing, but on that same uh, timeline, or whatever, good morning is actually bad. You know, I was doing something. I was watching National Geographic program or something like that there, and they were trying to explain how there's this one country, okay, and of course it's over there near the Middle East. Uh, Smiling with teeth is actually an insult. Now, chances are pretty good we're never going to end up over there, but just to show you how, okay, just to show you how, hold on, I'm working. I'm trying to see what these people are doing. Okay, hold on, Natalie, I'm working. I got people who are pulling in, and I have to look in. See their leases. They work in the parking lot. Okay. What's this lady doing? Right. I work in a parking lot, and it's early in the morning, and sometimes people pull in because this lot has been closed for a while, and they pull in here. I'm thinking that it's still closed. It ain't. So I might have to tell her that she has to pay. Let me catch her before she gets out of the car. Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you have a lease?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a lease?
We got a lease park here. We can't park in here?
Um, if you are with them,
Yeah.
yes.
We would go to something.
Oh, okay. All right, because you just look like a beautiful lady in a
Oh,
red shirt.
thank you so
You're so
much.
welcome. All right. Okay, so now what we want to do is, uh, all right, well, where am I? Oh, okay. I know what it is, Natalie. Okay, I forgot what the title was. I'm trying to get people to take control of their own thoughts. Okay. Uh, it was something that I had to learn how to do, and I didn't learn it until I was way older. Okay. So if you can learn how to do it now, Natalie, um, you get to do it longer. All right. And it's a funny thing, how much fun you could actually have with this thing. Okay. Okay. Uh, I'm getting I'm getting your mind in control. Okay. Number one, meditating is your best friend. When I was your age, Natalie, I didn't think that. I thought it was like long haired. Um, y- yes, you could tell jokes. I like jokes. I actually think I have a sense of humor. And one of the things that is actually helping me through this terrible time that we're going through now is having a sense of humor. I was watching the news the other day, and I guess you could call it fake news, but it's the regular news. And they were trying to show all these countries that are being attacked and bombed and stuff like that there. And since it started in the Middle East, and they use colors and the countries and stuff, okay, they made it look like smoke. You know how smoke uh, goes in a little line like that. Oh, I'm like, these people are nuts. They really got our heads, but I want you to know that okay, you took uh, uh, why did you tell your wife that? Okay, out of all the things that you could have told her, you looked at her and said you drew your eyebrows in too high. Come on, be nice. Listen, if you don't have anything nice to say, And if she was putting on eyebrows, it was either first thing in the morning, she's getting ready to go deal with all these ding dongs, or she was getting ready to go out. All right, so be nice. Okay, especially if you're married, because I tell you what, the Bible says that if you found a wife, you found a good thing. Now, everybody knows that that's true at first. Okay, um, but I don't know what happens. Like 4 or 5 years, I'm down the road. We lose the vision of the dream. Okay, um, I don't know people's motivation for getting married, but the Bible is clear. He who God has joined together, let no man put asunder. So if you think of marriage like that, okay. But if you're thinking of marriage any other way, I'm trying to show people that there are two things going on at the same time in any life or any situation. All right. So this is why you have to get your mind right. Okay. The first thing you want to think the next time you get married, remember how you feel when you started that marriage. Okay. And you're going to have to do as much forward thinking as you can possibly do. And you're only going to be able to do it if your mind is clear. All right. If you are, yeah, if your mind is clear, because you're going to have to think about your marriage. Okay, what are we going to be doing in this marriage 5 years from now? It's just like that. Stop getting married because you feel like this is the one, or God told me that this is the one. Because I'm telling you what, if God tells you that this is the one, you're going to know it. You are going to know it. Okay, you're not going to feel it. All right, because God is not a touchy feely God. Okay, he gives commands. Okay, and once he hits you with them, uh, you'll know it. So he's trying to tell you to get your mind right. I can prove it. The Bible says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Well, what knowledge of what? It so basically it means we perish because we don't know what we're doing. Okay, well, we got safety. We got things in place for our safety and stuff like that. There, I was just riding across a highway, and it, I, it's got a bridge and stuff. And recently, people have been driving off these bridges. Okay, I remember thinking that today. I'm like, hey, Flux. Okay, so if you don't drive on that bridge, or if you hear the news or something, you might not be aware of it, but I'm aware of it. Okay, now there's a reason why I won't drive through the city, but I digress. Uh, if I take the highway, it takes me 15-20 minutes to get down here, but it's not. It's fraught with dangers. I mean, people are going 55 miles per hour. You got the pickup people are zooming past you, and then I don't know what's going on with my alignment. I just got it fixed. I'll hit some spots, and the thing will just start jimmying and carrying on. I'm like, what the heck is it wrong? Now, I wouldn't mind it doing that, but I'm doing 55 miles per hour. So, all right. So it's taking all my wherewithal to be able to take this shortcut, but it's a gauntlet if you go through the city. All right, so I don't want to do that. All right. So anyway, this could be something I'm trying to get my attention. There are a few things that I need to do, but let's get back to I'm getting your mind right. Okay. Say you're listening to me. Now, your mind is going to listen to me, and I'm going to influence you to think this or that. And whatever you were thinking, you kind of put on the back burner. Now remember, I don't know if you have learned this yet, but there are people who have an internal dialogue or they have no internal dialogue. Now, I know you don't know this. I know you haven't learned this because I haven't. I just learned it maybe 2 years ago. All right, because I don't remember the day, but I remember I'm hearing about it. Okay, so I want you to find out. Okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Um, brother, I'm not married. I'm 14. Okay. I thought I marked on my choices that this video is not for kids. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you got through. So anyway, I got my mind right. I put this video is not for kids. So, but if you want to stay, the only reason why I would not make this video for kids because if you're 14, you still got to learn how to pee straight and don't pee on the floor. Okay, so the stuff I'm talking about, I guess it's I guess it's a good read or something. I don't know. Okay, so now let's get your mind right. This is where meditation comes into play. All right. When I first learned about meditation, we thought it was older people, usually white, um, walking around with no shoes and on the beach and in the grass and stuff. And who knew though that they were actually right? It was actually the right thing to do. But I was 14 when I was watching them do that, and they just seemed weird to me because nobody was doing that. Can I help you pay for your studies? If you get your mind right, I want you to learn about Taza Doctrine, TazadaqDoctrine, Taza Doctrine. This is a way of thinking that we learned from Taza Doc. Kahan Taza Doc, Tazadaq. Okay? He's going to teach you how you actually have unlimited wealth, not in your pocket, okay? But you can get money to pay uh, for your studies because it's not like you taking a wheelbarrow into the registrar's office at college and paying for your education. This is all done by numbers. Okay, it's all done by accounts. If you're in a school, you have an account. This is your student account. Your student account has where the payments are coming from. There's your name, social security number. These are all accounts. And if you get your mind right, you're going to learn how to control some of these accounts. Okay, I know you're only 14, but it's been said that some leaders have said things like, uh, that are like quotes, okay, like "good morning." All right, it's good in on one hand, and on the other hand, um, it's it's bad. Okay, it depends on who you're talking to. So I like to say "grand rising." Okay, but there was one leader who said um, people in 2026 or beyond are going to own nothing and be happy. Now, if you just hear that, and if you're not going that way, if your mind isn't right, I'm going that way, that'll sound bad. Okay? When we grew up, we had a saying whenever you die, whenever people die, whoever has the most toys at the end, I have to literally, I have to find things that, okay? How many? All right. How many of you sleep with their socks on? Okay. If you sleep with your socks on, put a one in a room, so, something like that. Okay. If all right, and if you don't sleep with your socks on, all right, don't worry about it. All right. So now I had to get my mind right. Now I'm at that age where it's not to help you about uh, get into somebody's pants. Okay, meditation it isn't like that. And if you get the right song, okay, and if you take guided meditation, okay, maybe somebody's voice and not somebody's voice and guided meditation, they're going to try to tell you now, deep breathe. All right, that type of guided meditation. If you're new, guided meditation is cool because it's teaching you in the beginning on the sixth day when he formed man from the dust, at the end of and he said creation in it, but it also had a point where somebody was formed from the earth. All right, and that would be you. And the one who was in charge of that at the end of the day looked at you and said, okay, it is good. Okay, and apparently you were naked. Okay, so, I don't know. Naked must not mean what we think naked means, because in the beginning, it was not so. That was one of the things that got us in trouble when the big guy came down and visited what he had formed. Like if you form an idea, get it? Kind of look at it like that. If you don't believe that he actually bent down or came down from heaven and cut man out of the ground. All right, so he had formed an idea, and I want to tell you why that could also be. All right, because the scripture says that he knows the thoughts he has towards you, his plans to give you a hope and a future and to prosper you. So if you want to get money to pay for your uh, loans and stuff like that, there you could go through the Taza doctrine and learn how to use the right forms. There are people filling forms out for you everywhere you go. You go to a bank, you got to fill out a form. If you want to get online, you got to fill out a form. If you want to order something from Tim, or Amazon, you have to fill out a form. Forms are being filled out for you all the time. Once you learn how to become, uh, once you try to learn how to do the idea that was formed in the Garden of Eden, you're going to be filling out your own forms. That's all it is. All right. The reason why things are so much and so expensive is because so many people have to do something with that form that's filled out with your name on it. So you cut out the middleman and you learn how to fill out your own forms. You don't want to get overwhelmed with them. You should see my filing system. Holy moly! The things that I want to do and make sure I do, I put them down like on the floor. So whenever I'm walking around, I'll see them. Like for example, I get these receipts from where I get my coffee. So, since nobody got me a coffee today, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I want to get 1,000 subscriptions. And in that way, I might get a donate button, or I can do whatever you're allowed to do uh, whenever you have 1,000 subscribers. And what I'll do is I'll subscribe to your channel. And if you are trying to get 1,000 subscribers, then that'll help you. And I do have a lot of people who have subscribed to my channel. They're either close to 1,000, some of them are even over 1,000. Okay. So even to get a YouTube channel, I was listening. I read a comment on here from one person who said they didn't have a YouTube channel. I was like, well, how'd you get on here if you didn't have a YouTube channel? So I still got to learn how this thing works. So anyway, like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll just keep going. I got stories out the wazoo that will help you because I've been around for quite some time. All right, and if I could give you an idea of what's going to happen, I don't want you to do it the way I did it, with the exception of getting your subscribers or something. But I don't want you to try to emulate what I did and get the result that I got, because you should have your own what you want to get. Okay, so the only way you're going to get that is if your mind is right. Okay, you're going to have to remember, now, why did I start a YouTube channel? Okay, and then it's true what they say. If you go to an interview, um, one of the questions might be, uh, where do you think you're going to be in 5 years? All right, now, if your mind's not right, you're not going to think that he's asking you, or she is asking you, whoever the interviewer is, they're asking you, where do you think you're going to be in this company in 5 years? Now, in your interview, they've asked you questions, okay, uh, that might not have been referring to the uh, job. All right. So whenever you come up with an answer to that question, they're asking you, where do you think you're going to be in this company in 5 years? All right. So for that, you might want to say, well, it depends on the openings as they become available in the company. Something like that. A lot of the times, when you're in court and when you are in an interview, you're not really sure how it's going to go. Okay. And the reason it is because number one, you don't really go to interviews all like that. And number two, you probably don't go to court all like that. But both of these places got forms that have to be filled out. Okay? So, what you want to do is you want to fill out some of these forms yourself. You fill out a form, they got you in the interview. Now you got some questions, and now you got to think, what are these questions that I'm trying to do? So they're not asking you, where do you plan on being in 5 years? They're not asking you, well, I plan on being in Florida, living on the beach or something, which might be an answer that you might give according to your age, okay? All right. When you set the create a character to random, okay. What's up, random? Welcome back. All right. So, um, okay. So, you're going to have to learn how to fill out some forms. There are some wonderful forms that you could fill out. If you do them yourself, somebody else doesn't have to get involved in them. All right. So you could fill out some forms. Somebody gets the form, and then they go on vacation for 2 weeks. Okay. It could be the same scenario if you do the form yourself, but best case scenario is that you don't want to uh, have that happen. All right. So you want to do your own forms. If you do not have a printer at home, uh, it's going to be kind of tough for you because you got to go places to print your own forms. Okay. So most computers do have a function where you can print, but you can't print it to a printer. If you have like Microsoft Word or something, it kind of has its own printer, but it's not a physical printer. Okay. I think it's called XPS or something like that. All right. So here's what you're going to have to do. Number one, you're going to have to get a printer. And these things will help you keep your mind right. Do you ever know somebody who was a genius or something like that there, and somebody would go over there, do a documentary on them or something, And when they get into their house, they either have a bunch of books, okay, around them, or they have a bunch of chalkboard, and they have all kinds of notes and stuff like that there on it, like Einstein or something like that there. He probably wasn't a person that put a lot of notes on paper, okay? So he put his notes on the boards. His walls are probably all uh, chalkboards and stuff like that there, where he erased solutions and wrote over them and stuff like that there. Where you're going to have to do something similar to that. You got to get yourself a whiteboard, okay, and get a big one. Don't get one of them handheld whiteboards. I tell you how to get a whiteboard. If you know some kind of company is going out of business, um, they will have whiteboards. I found this one company; it was going out of business, and they wanted $20. I've seen it like on a website for uh, I don't know, like LinkedIn ID or something like that, and they were advertising whiteboards. And I was like, oh, okay. He only wanted $20 for it, so I went. Now, it was like 20 miles away from where I was, but I was retired and I'm trying to get my mind right. So one of the first things I thought was, well, I'm going to need a whiteboard, okay? Because my daughter has one in her living room, and she puts down her bills on it. All right, so you kind of get the idea of where I'm going. So it's not that far fetched. It's just that maybe the example I was using might be kind of random. Okay, so oh, thank you. I love my hair too. I'll probably get alopecia. Oh, had hair. We grew up in that generation. That's kind of confusing because most they usually clip. Okay, so if I went to a whenever I was growing up, I probably didn't have an afro. Okay, so anyway, I digress. But there was many people who I'm dead. Okay, so anyway, I think it was our parents' preference, but at the same time, they didn't make us go get a haircut. But when we were teeny weenies, they would take us to the barber shop. But when I got older and I was able to pay for my own haircuts, didn't really do it all that much. She written down, and you could see it. All right, now this is part getting your mind right. Can't head, oh, it's done. You have to physically have it somewhere. You can cross it off, or you can erase it. All right. All right. So those are called whiteboards or eraser boards or something like that. There. All right. So it's the same thing that you're going to apply into your life. All right. No matter how old you are, you're going to do better knowing what you did and what you haven't done. Okay. Manager does. So when I was in college, I took business math, and one of the first things that was management and a computer for project management, but uh, they would have sheets of all the projects. The cement is going to show up on Monday. The water for the cement is going to show up Tuesday. All right, so it had a plan for each day what was coming. That's what the project manager is doing. If you ever see them in a trailer on a work site, that person in that trailer is probably the project manager. Everything down. So, um, a labor, okay. supervisors and stuff for that. All right, but the project manager is ordering everything. Have you ever seen construction? And they have these big, long, tall cranes. Okay, do you know that there is not a big, long, tall crane store? Okay, all right. So these things were built. They're so huge, like on the skyscrapers and stuff. If you see one on top of the skyscraper, well, these things are owned by one like Halliburton or something like that. And then this is just an example. All right. So they only made six of them in the whole world. All right. If they're in China, they might make six of them. All right. And anybody in China who wants to use those, oh, okay, retro. All right. So anybody who wants to use those cranes, you have to order them, and you have to wait until the person who is using that crane on the top of that building is done with it. All right, so this is what the project manager does. All right, so this is why it's such a big deal if people get behind budget or whatever, or but behind schedule, because the people are renting these machines. They don't buy them. Okay, if I want to build a building, I'm not going to buy the cranes. All right, I'm going to use the cranes. So it's the same thing in your marriage. Same thing. You're going to have to plan your marriage out. All right, this is what we're going to be doing in year 3. This is what we're going to be doing in year 5. So you want to have your milestones and stuff like that there. You want to actually factor in if you're going to celebrate holidays and Valentine's Day and stuff like that there. That has to be part of your planning, because if you just do it because it's Valentine's Day, you're going to mess everything up. You're going to mess up the plan. You're going to mess up the schedule. So this is why you have to get your mind right. Almost nobody does this. So now you're going to have problems because she's going to think she's getting something for Valentine's Day. And that's just not on your radar. I mean, okay, if you've been single for a while, when you were single, you didn't celebrate Valentine's Day. So you kind of got out of the habit of getting stuff for Valentine's Day. Now you're in a relationship and you got to get back on the ball getting stuff for Valentine's Day. You got to remember birthdays. All right. So at the beginning of the relationship, that's what you want to establish. Hey, look, I don't do these holidays. I don't do these birthdays. You have to get all that stuff out the way. All right. And, sit around, have your wine. Not the synthetic wine. I want you to get that wine that somebody made on their farm. I have a guy, he owns a bar. I'm downtown. He also has, what do you call it? A vineyard or something. So he bought in. So he makes his own wine. He's got his own bottles and everything. And he wasted a bottle on me once because he gave me a bottle to try, but I'm a beer drinker, so you kind of waste your wine giving it to a beer drinker, because I'm like, okay, I'll just drink it. You know what I'm saying? But it was probably a very good wine. Okay, so for example, if you go overseas, they make their wine different than we do with the wine that we would go to our wine and spirit store and buy. I heard a very interesting explanation about wine and spirits. Everybody's heard this story before. All right, so you go into a wine and spirit store and you buy these little bottles that look like potion bottles, okay, of wine or alcohol. So they look like bottles of potion. They do it right in your face. Well, you're thinking, oh, I just want to get some gin and rum or something. Now, gin and vodka, these are usually big bottles and probably wouldn't be used in for spirit a tour with it. So I kind of really wasn't into what wine. So what we first started to drink was gut wine. Okay, so is if you eventually it would give you cirrhosis of the liver. Okay, all right. Now it would take a while to do it, young people, but it was what we could afford. Okay, so they would sell you that for maybe $3 for a quart or something like that. There, so that's what we can afford when we were your age, so like in our 19 and years old. Uh, year olds are drinking. Okay, I learned that when I was in the military. Uh, I wasn't. I was under 21, but I'd go into the state store and buy something because I had my military ID, so they would sell it to me. But anyway, I digress. I don't want to give away somebody's hustle. Okay. All right. Let's see. Common. Okay. What is it? I don't know. Brother, I'm not married. I'm 14. No, they all sit in the dark. If that meditation of what is happening or meditating, that's fine. All right. But I want to teach you nothing works. All right. One of the things that you may be introduced to is meditating, is getting on your, yourself. Remember, thought. Well, your mind can't think of two things at once. Okay. So if you learn to meditate, you'll plan. Okay, because you want to do something for yourself. So you're going to focus on yourself, all right, and get a plan and follow that. Don't follow, okay, and that's going to take up space in your brain. Where if you get your mind right, clear your mind, create your something will say at the end of this, all they'll all right, so that's what they're trying to do. And I'm not a religious person, okay? All right. How many? Uh-oh. All right. How many EMO kids, Natalie? Yes. All right. I told my wife she had. Oh, the niner. Get it? Yeah, that was a funny joke. Sure. All right. You'll probably be sleeping on the couch. Okay. My grandfather said, my generation relies too much on the latest technology. So I unplugged his life support, committing crime. I'm morally and legally. I try to help younger people get an idea what they're coming up, what's coming up. Because uh, it ain't pretty if you're not ready. Okay, so you're going to have some kind of plan. You're going to have to be planning it. You're going to have to cross it off as you get it done. Okay, um, you don't want to be the type of person. Well, why do I make one step forward and two steps back? Because you didn't plan. Why do you have stress and anxiety? Because you didn't write it down. So you don't know what you're going to say whenever it happens. So whenever it goes to court, whenever you go to court, you don't know what you're going to say. Okay. Whenever you go into a bank, uh, you don't want to go in there with a note. Give me all the money. All right, stuff like that. All right, great trans community. I'm not really sure what that means, but okay. So we'll stop on that. Places that are attacked, and of course it's been bombed. There's going to be some smoke in the diagram or something like that. There. So anyway, So they made all the 10 countries in a line, okay, on the round map, not a flat Earth map. So anyway, I digress. Looked at that and I saw how it looked like a smokestack, and the smoke was coming out of the stack, and how it went across the line of fire, I guess. And I had the distinct impression that, you know what, I'm not going to watch any more about this war over there, because I knew when it happened, since this is not my first rodeo. You young people may not know this, but this sort of thing has happened over there before. I want you to go back and I want you to, uh, uh, okay, you're going to find that there is an agenda um, to take out 7 places and put puppets into these 7 places over there. And it has a date. So what I'm saying is that the things that you young people are experiencing, you're worried about World War III and stuff like that there, I really wouldn't worry about it, because they're following their plan. They have already written this plan down, and in 2026, this is where they planned on being at this time. So I want you to look up what was the great plan for the 7 continents in the Middle East, or something like that there. You, you guys are savvy, because they say that the younger people don't use Chat GBT like Google. Okay, so find that, and you won't have to worry about them coming over here, except for the sleeper cells. And I don't know what kind of damage a sleeper cell can actually do unless I'm on the receiving end. Like if you go to uh, a concert, if you go to a the Super Bowl or something like that, there, uh, uh, they could inflict that type of damage in those types of environments. So, problem solved. Stay out of those types of environments. Remember that one guy who had a van, and he filled it full of explosives, and he pulled it in front of a federal building, and I guess he got out. And when he got uh, in detonation range, or out detonating range or something, he blew up this federal building. I mean, at least the face of it or the faucet of it. I'm like, oh man, these people are really trying to get you afraid to go to work. Listen, I feel bad for the people who got affected by that. I mean, that's terrible. That they went to work. Somebody was parking a van in front of their building and was planning on setting off. Same thing with the Twin Towers. That was somebody's plan, and it wasn't somebody's plan overseas. Okay, that type of plan has to come from somebody. Let's just say who has a project manager. Okay, now I don't know if they use project managers overseas, but that was really a plan that was carried out. So you can do it too. You can come up with a plan for your success or for your failure. But the way we do it is we take 1 step forward and 2 steps back. So our plan is for us to fail. Okay? So don't do that. Bad, bad. Come up with a plan that's going to help you. Plan what you want. If you want to have a new car, if you want to have your student loan paid for, you want to plan that out. Okay? You don't want to spend $50,000 in student loans and become a liberal arts. You know, that student loan back. Who's going to hire manager, supervisor? In the day was somebody who got a degree, just wanted to show that they had, and whatever job that they were getting, of course, would pay for that liberal arts degree because they had a master's in it. Some places will say you need some experience or you need a college degree. If you listen to the position description, okay, sometimes they just want people who have a college degree. And one thing I found when I went to business school was uh, the business school taught us that once you get out of college, you're going to forget everything you learned because that business is not going to teach you according to what you learned in college. So one of the things that they'll tell you in the interview, if you get the job, is they'll tell you, okay, you're going to forget everything you knew or learned in college, and you're going to have to learn how to work in our company, ABC construction company or something. Okay, but it isn't something that somebody tells you. So now you got a student loan that you have to end up paying for the rest of your life. Ask me how I know. Okay, so that's my story. I think I've given you some things to consider, and I want you to do it now. I want you to start planning now. No matter how bad life is, how many relationships you've been in and out of, you could turn it around in one day. Start planning, start writing, start and 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 hey hey make a Duranza, Nia. Okay, okay. So start planning. All right, and follow your plan. Don't follow the plan where you get up, shower, stop and get your coffee, uh, and get to work and sit there all day. What do you really think you're going to get from that type of job? Okay, or for working like that, you're not going to get anything. You can't invest in the 401ks because whenever there's a stock market crash or something, that's the first thing they do. Okay, uh, so you're sitting there, you're going to work every day, you're not visiting because you're exhausted. I mean, if you're fortunate, you have sons and daughters, and they might be on some kind of team or something like that there. So you might get outside the family nucleus, brother, mother, sister, father. You may be able to get out that way, but most times uh, you're going to have to get a babysitter or something. It's just too much extra that you have to do in order for you to go out and enjoy life. Not you're living, but you're not. Uh, out, well, you're living, but you're not alive or something like that. There, if you have that type of job, you know what I'm talking about, and that's what people do. They go to work, hold them jobs for 20 and 30 years, and you would be surprised how many people that didn't retire and who are 70 or near 70s, in between 60 and 70, and still have a job. Okay. And one of the reasons why it's like that is because they moved the goal for retirement age. The retirement age, believe it or not, years ago, I think was 62, and it might have been in the 50s. I'm not sure, a 50-year-old. But what they did was they moved the retirement age up. Do you know that the retirement age now is 77? So they went from 62 all the way up to 77 in order for you to get Social Security. Or Emma is listening to you, and it play pool air. Okay, I'm not really sure what that means. Maker. All right, so uh So it'll always change. Emma is listening to you, and it play pool air. All right, so no, all right, so you can't have that type of plan that where somebody else can move the bar. You're gonna have to have your type of plan. Now, to be fair, people who walk along like that, they probably take that far overseas. It's pretty clear, like you know, uh, crossing the pond. All right. So you have to stick to your own plan. Now, if your plan is, hey, I'm going to keep this job until they make me not come in, well, here's a problem with that. Uh, I used to work in uh, kind of like an ambulance would come in. Okay, here, I got this parking lot, so it's flat, and so I could see. And that ambulance would come in, and somebody was sitting at their desk and had a heart palpitation or something like that there, and they just wheeled them on out, and they didn't turn the lights on after they left. Okay, so whatever happens in that kind of scenario, that's one of the things that you could look forward to if you don't have your own plan. So here's what you do: plan out your life, plan how long you're going to work, and follow that until I'm this age. And then after I retired, my plan was okay. I could drink beer every day now and just get my checks, and I'm good. That was a bad plan, but at least I did have a plan, so I don't have to go be a Walmart greeter. Okay, at my age, all right, I didn't really have a hospital experience until recently. I had a stroke. I'm like, oh my, and I'm I diagnosed myself as having a stroke because my arm it wasn't sleep. You know how you are, you know how your arm goes to sleep. Well, it wasn't like that. That arm wasn't doing nothing. I was like, oh geez, I must be having a stroke. Okay, so I called the ambulance, and number one, I want you to know, ambulances are not cheap. Ooh, holy moly! Did you get them hospital services? They charged me for some services, and I had to call the billing department. I'm like, I don't know what this service was. Okay, so I'm not really like a hospital person, and that's what I would do. I would get up, I would go to work. Sometimes I had two jobs. Okay, and I had the two jobs just so I could maintain being poor. Okay, with stuff. I had a van. I had an apartment house. I had a girlfriend. I had to get gas. All right. Hey, I mean, you can stick. You can stick to your plan, but I'm a kid. I can't be planning about jobs and stuff. I have to plan those are on 17 years old, 16, 15, but I'm 10. Well, we'll make up your mind. I thought you said you were 14, but maybe it was somebody else. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to you because you put a comment in, but these videos, uh, people your age, if you listen to the commercials, uh, like Mark Zuckerberg or something, he started at your age. Uh, who uh, people start companies in their garage. All right, whenever they were your age. So the way your plan is going, you may not be working on a vision or a purpose from your garage. All right, you're probably just waiting to get old enough to, get onto your mom and them's house. Okay, and again, what I said earlier, you're probably still trying to figure out how to pee straight. Okay, you know, your mom is probably still cleaning the bathroom, okay? Because you know you don't. Okay, our moms do a lot for us that they really don't get credit for. And the only thing I could tell you is my entire life, I don't ever remember a dirty bathroom. Now, could be because I had sisters that they're all some of that, and but I personally don't remember it. So when I got older, I had a good impression of my mom, and I took care of my mom. So that you're going to have to incorporate in your plan. Who's going to take care of the parents? Are you going to take care of the parents? So no matter what you get, as far as the house is concerned, you're going to have to add a place for your parents to come and stay, or a parent to come and stay with you, because what happens to them after they retire is not, it isn't that swell. All right. What's going to happen to the guys is that they're going to get that prostate cancer, and that's where they have to go pee 2 or 3 times at night, or they're going to get that other thing down there, pancreatic cancer. That is not pleasant, just knowing a person who has that. All right. So they're going to have to be taken care of. Okay. Do you sit down on the toilet to pee? No, uh, I don't. Uh, why would I do that? That's a weird thing. But no, no, no. But I'm old enough to I know how to pee straight, and so, sometimes I still get something on the side of the toilet. The toilet is the worst invention that they've ever come up with. I want to get a house, and I want my house to be just like a public restaurant. I want it to have a toilet and a urinal, because everything being done in the same toilet, that's it's just it's crazy. And at the same time, even if I had a urinal, you ever seen the urinals? Holy moly! But anyway, I digress. I went into one fancy place. Um, it had a urinal and a toilet. It was kind of side by side or something. But anyway, um, that's where I got that idea from. So, for example, the Orange Man in the White House or something, they say he has gold toilets and stuff in there. I'm like, okay. So the toilet is a issue uh, throughout your lives, and no matter what level you're on. Okay, dude, if you sit down on the toilet, it's way easier. You just don't have to aim. Well, it is, but uh, depending on the equipment you use, it could get wet. Okay, and depending on how long you're going to be sitting there, it could end up touching the side of the toilet. So yeah, that depends on the size of your tool if you want to do something like that. And then you know where the toilet lid touches the toilet. Sometimes the urine, could go through there. Now, I wasn't sitting down to pee to do that, but I have noticed that whenever I'm trying to empty the plumbing, if I have to pee, it'll go through there. So, so it's a monster. It's something that you have to work on. You don't necessarily have to have a plan for it, but that seal that the toilet is placed on, uh, I don't know, maybe I sit down on it too hard or something, but the seal stuff always comes out a little bit around the edges. So it looks terrible because the is white, and the wax from the toilet kind of squishes out after a while. So you have to clean that all the time. It's a monster. And toilets, yeah, young man. When you flush the toilet, put the seat down, okay? Because if you do the number two, okay, and if you flush the toilet, all those particles from the number two is going to get on your toothbrush and on the sink and stuff like that there. So the bathroom is really not a clean place. Okay, and if it is a clean place, you got a good mom or sisters who is keeping that place down for you. But the, the bathroom is a monster, and the reason why I want you to do that is I want you to either if you're going to do the number two, and if you're going to fill it up, okay, uh, flush the toilet, okay, while you're still sitting there, whenever you're doing the number two, okay? Okay, bye. And also, I subbed. I can join next stream. Okay, thank you. Okay, so when you flush the toilet, stuff comes out of that, not just the water particles. So those particles from the number two are actually coming up. So if you've been sitting in there for a minute, flush the toilet. Don't wait till the end and you got to get a bucket of water to accommodate flushing that toilet. All right. And if you wait until after you're done, I want you to put the seat down. It's a little experiment you can do. And after a while, I want you to look at that toilet seat. And there's a lot of stuff on there. I don't know what happens, but it's messy business. All right. So anyway, all the kids are gone. And now we're back to the adults. So, so you have to get your mind right. You're going to have to find someone that is going to teach you to only use your thoughts, only do what your brain says. All right. And if you take a job and if you're going to work for someone, they're going to keep you for as long as they can, and they're going to make a lot of money from you. They're going to make a lot of money from you. And as long as you're showing up, they're just going to make that money from you. You might not know how much your company actually makes, but let's just put it to you like this. If they got a big building, they're making a lot of money. Remember, I was talking to you about those cranes on top of buildings and stuff like that there? Well, those are going to be kept in a pretty big building or a warehouse or something like that there. All right. So the person who runs that company is making a lot of money. And you're going in there, moving the equipment around or whatever it is you're doing. All right. And you do that for 20, 30 years. And all you got is a retirement check. Okay. So I don't know. Some people get nice retirement packages or something. But remember, they're going to change that retirement age. So right now, the retirement age is either 72 or 75 or something like that there. So I don't know if you young people are ever going to be retiring. You just might work straight through, which makes it makes sense for the company, because there are some people who are that age and still ready to rock. Remember, I told you there are some people who uh, who still work at 70. They might not look 70, but at the same time they go to work and one day they don't come home from work. You know what I'm saying? Because it was their time to go. All right, but some people make a lot of money, and they are able to accumulate all this money, but die before they have a chance to use it. What happens to the money you put in Social Security if you get unalive before you use it all? Okay. So anyway, learn how to fill out forms. You can do it. You've been filling out forms all your life. Use the forms that fill out what you want. Okay. and stop signing stuff. It's when you get online, they come up with this user agreement or something. Uh, Even I don't read it. Okay, and you scroll down until the little button turns blue, and then you type or you hit I agree. And I tell you what got me off of that from doing that. There was this company, let's say in Ohio. Let's pick on Ohio or Tennessee, and they had a user agreement. Somebody signed it, and then they canceled it or whatever. They didn't want the product anymore. Years down the road, maybe like 5 years, and something happened, and they wanted to sue that company. And that company's defense was, well, we're not going to pay this lawsuit because this person signed a user agreement. So that person lost that lawsuit, even though that user agreement, I don't know how they worded it, but that user agreement followed that person forever. Okay, because they signed it. It's a contract. Um, and if you opt out of a contract, some people just opt out of a contract and don't uh, send in some paperwork saying, hey, uh, I want to come out of this contract. They don't do the paperwork to everyone that they signed a user agreement with. Okay, that's all it is. So they got something for you. So with all the, if you need to make money, yeah, all right. I said this before and I got in a little trouble because I didn't say it right. But since AI listens to whatever you say, they bring information that you might be interested in. And one of the things I had said was I was trying to get people to sign up for class action lawsuits and stuff like that there. And the way I described it, it might have lent itself to a fraud. So I took that one down. But what AI did was since then, now I get in my For You page class action lawsuits and stuff like that there. All right. Plan, people, plan. You have to come up with a plan, okay? And there are all types of class action lawsuits. So, for example, uh, if you signed a user uh, agreement, okay, and if you signed for it and they leaked your data, all right, it so you may not be aware of that. That's what I was trying to say. So you may not be aware that somebody's doing a class action lawsuit, and now you find out that they are being sued or whatever. So I was trying to encourage people to go to the class action lawsuits websites and try to find out uh, if their data was breached. Stuff like that. There, you get paid for that. Okay, might not be much, but how much do you have now? If you're trying to pay for a student loan or something like that, there, um, that money could come from these class action lawsuits or something like that. There, so everything is a contract. Everything. Marriage is a contract. Getting online is a contract. Uh, Hanging out with your friends is a social contract. All right. So you are in agreement. So for example, if you're taking your buddy home, and if he says, "Hey, I want to stop at the convenience store and get some coffee," so you're like, "Cool, here, I'll drop you off and I'll just pull over here." Then he comes running out, okay, and he hops in the car and he'd be like, "Go, go, 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 go!" Sorry, so you're panicking. You don't know what happened. It could be KKK chasing somebody or something like that there. But it turns out that while he was in there or she was in there, they decided to rob the store. Okay. Now, unbeknownst to you, because you're just trying to help. When you two get caught, and you will get caught, they got cameras all over the place, and they got people who just sit in cars. I guess they call them undercover police officers or something. They got radios, and they're gonna catch you. Okay. Now you are an accessory to a crime, either after the fact or they'll probably try to get you for conspiracy. That's the problem with the courts. If you get charged with something, you also get charged with something else. All right, and all you were trying to do was give the guy. You were the designated driver, so you're trying to take the guy home, make sure you got home safe. All right, because it's a social contract. If you are guilty, you are as guilty as the person who committed the crime. All right, so everything is a contract. So here's what you do. Okay, number one, if you can, work from home. Number two, what is your plan? Where are you going to be in 5 years? All right, keep it simple. A little 5 year contract with yourself. Okay, it's going to take a lot of writing. It's going to take a lot of reading. Okay, but it's for you. Work for yourself. People will always tell you, pay yourself first. Okay, I helped one of my grandsons. He calls me out of clear blue sky. Hey, could you give me a couple $100? I don't want my car to get repossessed. I'm like, where did this come from? All right. So I took the opportunity to give him that money. And the reason why I did that is because it's a contract. Okay. They call them grandchildren. Now think about it. You're going to spend $1,000 on each one of them. Now you're lucky if you don't have that many grandchildren. But if you got a bunch of grandchildren, and I'm telling you, you do, because you're going to have great grandchildren. And if you live to be older than me, you're going to have great great grandchildren. Because it don't take long for your family to grow. Or so, if you spend $1,000 on each one of them jokers, see how words are. All right, I'm not a grandparent because I'm grand. Okay, it's a contract. It's all about commerce. You got to get your mind right. They know that they can get a loan or borrow some money. They know that they can get it from their grandparents. All right, I just got ahead of the game, and I figured, all right, I don't do birthdays, I don't do holidays, I don't do graduations and stuff like that there, because that's going to take away from the grand that I'm going to give you. The Bible says it like this: it's a wise man leaves an inheritance for his grandchildren. Okay? Because it's a contract. All right? They had to make it contractual so they can control it, so they can uh, oversee it or something like that there, or have a point where they could, uh, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but that's how I want you to start looking at grandchildren and sons and daughters. All right. When you think of a son, it comes up every day. Every day runs the same routine. So if you have a good child, if you have a good son or a bad son, they're going to do the same thing over and over again, just like the son. Oh, okay. And if you have a daughter, bless her little heart, she's never going to do anything wrong, and you probably will never smell her fart. You know what I'm saying? Woo! Okay. So you're going to have to change your perspective, and you're going to have to write some of this down. Last year, the number one saying that I wrote down that I remember from last year, instead of what if, think even if. All right. So I went from thinking, what if this, or what if that. Now I think, even if this, or even if that. So when I'm presented with a problem, I'm like, well, I have a problem even if, okay, or there's going to be a problem even if I do everything right. All right. So I kind of live mentally thinking like that. And I wrote it down. I got my printer and I printed it and I put it in two spaces that I look at frequently as I'm moving around my house. So remember, oh, hey, May, hey, Maya, Horizons. All right. So I look at it um, as I'm looking on my walls and stuff like that there because I learned how to write stuff down. Like those old geniuses who used to write stuff down on chalkboards and stuff like that there. Like that professor in college who uses a whiteboard and if they're trying to come up with a solution or something like that there. You're going to have to think like that and you're going to have to live like that. All right? Now, why would you want to do all that? All right? Because at some point whoever has the most tools, whoever has the most toys at the end wins is one way to think. But the way I think is somebody wrote something years ago. I picked it up and read it, and I like the way that story ended. So that's how I want my story to go. I want to end up being in a place called heaven. Okay. And there's somebody who took the time to write down their interpretation on how to get to heaven. Okay. And the way they got these uh, books and stuff, it was somebody, they either got their mind right and thought about it, and their mind focusing on themselves came up with a conclusion. Okay. As opposed to someone who didn't write it and it refers to it. They're going to take somebody else's thoughts. All right. So you don't want to do that. You want to use the thoughts that the creator of heaven and earth is said to somebody in their moment of clarity that the creator knows the thoughts that they have toward you to give you a hope and a future. So I want you to remember that most of what you get, remember the saying, 98% of what you think never happens. Now that's a hard lesson to learn, okay? Especially if you are an envious person or a jealous person or something like that there. The Bible says it like this. This, this The spirit of man thinks evil continually, so my spirit will not dwell with him, but his years shall be 120 years. All right, so if you want to live to be 120 years old, we may not do that here. Some do in America. Some do reach that age, but that's mostly done overseas. That's where you would think somebody who is 120 years is. And the ones that do get interviewed on a YouTube channel or something like that, you ask them how old they are, and they're like, I'm 106. Okay, they're well on their way to reaching 120 years old. And anybody who goes before you, don't mourn for them because they got to the place before you did that we are all trying to get to. For those who believe in heaven, don't mourn. They got there first. We can't tell who's going to get there when. We don't know when my appointment is, and you don't know when your appointment is. But the Bible says that for each for each person, it's appointed once to die. Okay, so with all that we're doing, with all that we discussed, with all that I just tried to introduce to you, the goal is the same: is to make it to heaven. And what you don't want to do is, the Bible. Wait a minute. There's a saying: is if you don't believe in something, you're going to fall for everything or anything. this is also true. And what kind of life is that? Okay? All right, you're going to find yourself in the right place at the wrong time repeatedly. Okay? So you're always going to be putting out fires. So you don't want to do that. Just stick to your plan for your life. Okay? And I use as a reference, I'll just use the Bible. Now I don't walk around with the Bible. If you look in here now, you won't see a Bible in here. But I found that I don't necessarily have to have the Bible because I can use the cell phone now and pull up scriptures. I like being at home with this desktop because it has a bigger screen and I can really see those words. Okay, so if you are doing you, if you are getting your mind right, you're missing all this other stuff that's going on. Okay, and there's much stuff going on as there are people in a room. Everybody got something. Okay, everyone isn't in the room. I saw a video the other day, and this Marine had on his dress blue uniform, hat, and everything, bald head and everything. He was a sergeant or something like that, and he they were talking about Iran or something like that there, and he didn't like what he was hearing. All right, you have to be careful around Marines. All right, so he said something about it, and of course, it was kind of probably a state Congress meeting or something like that there, but it could have been in Washington D.C. because I didn't rewind it and try to figure out what was going on, but they decided to escort him out, and he's not going to let this die. Uh, his thing was free Palestine, all right, because they gave us all these instructions, and they're still killing people in Palestine. Free Palestine. Okay, what happened to that? Okay, now they're doing Iran. All right. So anyway, he's trying to show people how to stand up, be a man, and he's speaking to these people who are sitting up there at the desk. You know how they do. They get 6 people sitting up there facing the audience or whatever, and the audience had to were military people, generals and stuff like that there. And this is just from the explanation of what was going on, the play-by-play. So now he stands up and he says something about Palestine. He says something about Iran because we don't want to send our sons and daughters over there to fight in that war. Okay? And die. Okay? So I guess he has a son or daughter. So I'm standing up for them. So they're trying to get him together. He interrupted the meeting. They're trying to get him together. And they get him to the door. He was a bigger guy. Okay, so it took 2, and they still didn't have him under control, but they had like forward momentum, so they're pushing him towards the door. So he falls over a chair, and he takes the 2 guys down with him, but they didn't shoot him because, you know, he was this color. But anyway, I digress. They get him to the door. All right, and he's holding on to the door jamb, and the door jamb had 2 entrance and an exit, and they closed his hand. All right, and the door jamb closed on his hand. All right, from the other side, so they're pushing him out this way. 3 big guys ain't gonna make it through one door. Okay, so the other door was open. You know, they're trying to get this guy out, so both doors ended up kind of being open, and they caught his hand in the door. I'm like, oh, it was a mess. So he ended up going play by play. He ended up getting his arm broke because they wanted to get him out of there. You know, sometimes police officers, they get overzealous, and when they put your hand behind your back, they run it all the way up your spine trying to get the handcuffs on. I never understood it. You can't do that to me because my arm would. I'm like, all right, my arm go that high. It'll go the high in the front and back. It's not going that high. All right, uh, so I hope you see it. I'm pretty sure that that video is going to go viral. I just happen to see it first, so you guys may see that. Now, full stop on that. If you are a person of color, I don't know if you watch Black Twitter or Black Instagram or whatever like that there, but some people of color, they just don't take things too serious. Okay, so they may come up with a skits or Twitch or something like that there, and they'll say something like, "This message is to the people from Iran. Um, Us people of color, we didn't have anything to do with this war." Okay, so kind of think of it along those lines, and sometimes they're trying to be jovial about it. Well, what I wanted to tell you all is stop doing that. All right, because the majority of military people that people in Iran will see are going to be people of color. All right, because we when we come out of the prison, when we come out of the school to prison pipeline, some of our choices are to join the military. So there are a few melanated people that's going to be over there in Iran, and they're going to be over there, unaliving people. Okay, some of the melanated people who are doing stitches and stuff did take into consideration uh, to emphasize that if you see someone that's a person of color and they're coming in there shooting your people, that they don't mean to. They're just following orders. Which makes sense because the choice that they were given is either go into the military or go to jail. And what they might have done was opt into the military. But as far as wanting to go somewhere and unalive people uh, that they are similar to, at least in tone or skin tone, um, the jovial ones are trying to indicate that melanated people don't have anything to do with this war. But they do. All right. So stop doing that, and you play too much. All right. Because that's a very serious uh, situation to be in overseas, and you're not helping. All right. So anyway, what I decided to do, I'm going to stop watching the news about the Iran bombings and stuff. I do like to watch the reaction videos. They're very entertaining. They are not legal advice. They're not medical advice, but I do like to watch those. Okay, and I've decided that I'm just not going to watch the ones about Iran. I'm not going to click on them and perpetrate them. I'm getting views because uh, the older you get, the more you're going to go with the conspiracy theorists. Okay, if you are not a person who just goes to work or sleep. So if you are a woke person, you're probably going to go with the conspiracy theorists. And all right, where your energy goes, your attention flows. Oh, that's a good one, Mike. Yeah. Okay. So there are other sayings. There are other ways of saying what I just tried to say. I'm just not fancy, but I'm going to remember that one. Where your energy goes, your attention flows. So spend your energy on yourself. It's kind of like a person who exercises a lot, and you see how their bodies change and they become more. Uh, they have more prowess. Okay, so I'm kind of do that with everything. All right. So what? You're boring. To people think you're boring anyway. There's enough people that that they think that you're boring. You know how many people who uh, exercise and people who know them think they're boring because they go to the gym all the time? All right. So don't worry about other people's opinions. Just find your purpose, get on your purpose, and plan in your purpose what's going to happen year one, what's going to happen year five. Because if it gets too bad, you're going to stop. Okay, and the problem with being on your purpose and stopping, that ends your purpose. Whatever point you stop at, that's where your purpose ended. All right, and chances are pretty good. What they do now is they do cloning. Okay, and somebody just came up with a Michael Jackson channel. All right, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to come up with uh, lookalikes in 2026. So they're going to make it come across like Michael Jackson is still alive. All right, and they have cloning. He was one of the first people that I believe that was actually cloned, because he went from a brown skin to a very light skinned little nose person. Because the Jackson 5, even if you look at his brothers, they don't look like that. They got that nose. They got that nose. All right. And they got that skin tone. All right. So they've come up with this thing called cloning. All right. Now they're doing it now with, let's say, your boy Jim Carrey. All right. You can look at a picture of Jim Carrey and in 2001, I mean 2021. If you look at a picture of him now, he resembles Jim Carrey, but he doesn't look like Jim Carrey, and I can prove it. I look the same. All right, because people tell me all the time, "Hey, didn't I go to high school with you?" All right, or do you, even worse, some of them remember me from grade school. So I really haven't changed all that much, and neither have you. Okay, so I'm not cloned. But when Michael got his hair all fuzzed up and stuff with fire, I think at that point he became a clone. Remember, they cloned that sheep, Dolly, the lamb. Okay. Hey, Mixile left the stream as soon as he sent that. So he just pranked you because he knows you talk for a long time. Okay. Well, that's fine. And I'm trying to cover a lot of topics. I'm not going to spend a long time talking to you about the same thing. Okay. If you got it, you got it. So I'm going to move to another topic. Okay, so depending on where you come in on the conversation, like for example, make Dar Sunny. For example, you may not have heard me say like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So as I keep talking, I'll interject again, like and like my video, subscribe to my video. Okay, so that's why we do that. All right. So now I've covered several topics that are outside of my title, but I try to keep my title the main theme through the topics I discussed. So my title says something along the lines, get your mind right. Okay, and I'm trying to encourage you to learn how to meditate. And I gave you examples of it as time went on. So that's why I do that. But thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. Okay, because the way the logarithm goes is that the longer these are, the more views I get. Okay, and the more views I get, it will help me get my 1,000 subscribers. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the 1,000 subscribers, and I have to do that by doing longer videos. And you'll find that conversely, the people who have 900 1,000 subscribers and stuff like that. They do the Twitches and they do the Stitches and stuff like that. Uh, they tend to do shorter videos. So, but when they started, the people who would listen to them would want them to do longer videos, okay, because they like what they're saying or they agree with the reactions that they're giving. So that's what I'm doing. It's just coming across like I'm talking too long, okay? So there's a plan for what I'm doing. Remember, get your mind right, plan, and keep your mind on yourself. Keep your mind on your money and your money on your mind, okay? Alrighty then. Between you, okay. Oh, by the way, you might want to turn slow mode on because people spam stuff in the chat answers and it will ruin your stream. Okay. I hope they don't do that. And YouTube has a administrator for videos. So, for example, I've seen a couple videos redacted, or a couple of message redacted or removed. So either the person did it, or the person who my handler is doing that. So so YouTube doesn't want me to get reckless, okay, and ruin their business. So they have people who are monitoring my channel and your channel. So, for example, if I turn on some music right now, I could get a copyright strike because I have music on. So somebody on here is monitoring what I'm doing. For that music, they'll give me a copyright strike. Okay, but thank you. I appreciate you looking out for me that way. So, are there any other questions? Do you want to know my favorite color? Do you want to know what's the next thing I'm going to buy? The next thing I'm going to buy is a new pair of shoes, and I'm pretty sure it won't be Air Jordans. Air Jordans. Air Jordans. It probably won't be the more expensive shoes. So all I need is something that'll keep my feet dry. The the last pair of shoes I bought was those shoes that the hippies wear. They have copper in the bottom of it, and they fit a little tight. They kind of mush my toes up a little bit, but for the length of time that I'm going to be wearing them, all right, it's fine. And I use them for grounding. So I want you to learn about grounding. All right, this will help you think about yourself, because if you think about it, if you're grounding, you're not at a grounding party. You're doing something for yourself. You're thinking that you're connecting with the universe or connecting with Mother Earth and stuff like that there. So I want you to try some of these things that you have felt in the past were ridiculous. All right, because the advertisements and stuff and the distractions and stuff are trying to get you involved in what they are advertising and stuff. So it's just designed to take you away from thinking about yourself, away from thinking about your purpose. The best thing to do is make the creator of heaven and earth your purpose. Okay? If you don't believe in it or anything, or whatever, you can figure it out. You're going to find that that's one of the more valuable options, that there is a creator of heaven and earth. If you can get by Mars, and if you can get by whatever is going on, okay. So be of good cheer, young people. You're going to be living a long time. All right. If you got a nene and a mama and a grandma and a papa, you can live to be that age. And the ones who lived to be that age and didn't plan out their life, it's going to be a monster for them, because they're going to get that little social security check, and they're not going to have enough, and they're going to end up being Walmart greeters. If you have one that Mimi or Mama or Papa that plan their life out a little bit, you're going to find that those will be the ones that take vacations. All right, so you make up your mind. You have the examples that you need right there in your life, okay? Mine, uh, hmm, I'm definitely YouTube mode. Yeah, I am a tute knot. Okay, I guess that's another social media channel there. Make a dare, Sonny. Okay, so uh, get around people who think like that, do what they do, learn what's right. If it's right, it should work for everybody. If it's right, it should work for anybody. You don't have to say, "Oh, I tried this and it wasn't right for me." But the problem is if it's right and if it's been duplicated, then you try it, then you find that it's not right for you. See, this is why you want to get your mind right. You want to find something that's right and do it. And meditation will help you do that. Important. By the way, there's another person in the chat, and I ain't talking. I don't know. Oh, okay. There's actually more than that, but the way my handler does that, I probably got 10 or 15 people who are listening right now. But for some reason or another, my handler is only showing one or two. So don't worry about that. If you want to talk, okay, talk. When I have an opportunity to go to your channel, just remind me, and I'll do the same thing for you. I did one video, and the young man who was trying to support my video, he wrote a sentence out, one word at a time, and hit enter. All right, one word in the sentence, hit enter. So this way, it showed that I had 15 chats. All right, see how that works? All right. So that's what you want. It helps the logarithm when people make chats. So if you're going to do that, if you're going to be in here, just keep making your chat responses, and it'll help me. And I'll try to do the same thing for you. If I have a chance to go to your channel, I may also do a sentence, make 15 chats from 15 words, chat responses to 15 words, okay? So that's how we control the logarithm. That's all that is. But thank you for responding. It depends on who is coming in. Some people are bots. Okay. Some people are AI. They're trying to learn how people talk and communicate with each other. So they'll put in AI in there. So I don't know how many people on here that are actually human. Okay. I can see that you may be human or you're human, but the other people who are something that'll get that chat to respond. Okay. And one of the ways I can do that is if I turn on some music. Okay. And get a copyright. You, on the other hand, if I turn some music on in the background, you would not give me a copyright. See how that works? So, keep going. Keep supporting the channel. Helping me get a 1,000 subscribers. Kind of look at it like if you are in a bike club, um, a bicycle club, and how you all are riding bikes and you follow a path that you're going to follow, a bike trail or something like that. One of the most one of the best ways to actually meditate is to get on a bike trail. We have bike trails that go from my area and maybe two neighborhoods down all the way downtown uh, city. And it's a wonderful ride. If I get a comfortable seat, I would do it more often. As a matter of fact, when I was doing my meditation, I was thinking about how nice it's going to be this week. And I'm going to be riding my bike. So instead of doing my videos from inside my vehicle, I'll be doing my videos inside of my booth. It's all set up. Okay, I got a magnifying glass and everything because these words on here are so small. You may notice that I keep going like this whenever I read something. And this is prescription glasses. So, and, I still can't see. So whenever I'm in the booth, my phone won't be this close. I mean, the car's pretty close, within arm's length. But when I get in the booth, I have to have like this magnifying glass so to bring the words up. I can see myself fine, but in order to bring the words out, like if I want to read, by the way, what you are, well, what does WYA stand for? By the way. I'm a genius because they say if you take a word, if the letters are out of, as long as it has the same amount of letters as the correct spelling, your mind will interpret it. So even though you spelled it WYA, my brain put it together and I understand that it's saying by the way. All right. So I would not have read it and tried to say by waya. Okay. When I read it, it said, by the way, there's another person in the chat and talking. So you spelled ain't, IANT, but when I read it, I read ain't. Okay, that's one of those. Take a IQ test on YouTube or on Facebook. And the problem with those is I wouldn't mind taking them, but they always want you to register, sign up for this, sign up for that. When I clicked on it, I just wanted to take the IQ test. So anyway, I digress. Careful what you click on because everything is a contract. Okay. When I was trying to tell you the story about somebody who was suing a company and he lost the case because years ago he signed a contract, like kind of like an NDA or something like that there, or agreement. He had signed that, but when you do the terms of agreement, it's a contract and it's open ended. It doesn't have an expiration date. So he lost that case. All right, so you're going to have to be careful with signing these user agreements. Whatever you're looking for, whatever you're looking up, if something comes up where they trying to get you involved in a user agreement, there's another way to look it up. Okay, you don't have to sign up for the website or anything like that. That's just a contract that they're trying to get you to enter into. And the problem with that is, again, it's open ended, never expires. If something goes on, if you get a data breach or something like that there, but you signed a security agreement, you may not be able to get compensated for that. Okay, it's like an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. All right, everything is a contract. That's all I'm trying to say. Everything is a contract, but you can find whatever you want to find another way. There's two ways to do everything. Okay, I agree absolutely. Every agreement. I don't even skim the TOs. Tim Cook probably has the rights to my firstborn. You're right. They actually do. Just like the government has first rights with to your children because of the birth certificate. All right, so you're right in there. You kind of get it. Colbert, right? Everything is a contract. If you get a license, a marriage license, remember the Bible says, "He who God has joined together, let no man put asunder." Okay, but we came up with a marriage license. Okay, and the reason why they came up with a marriage license, so if that contract, it's a contract now. If it doesn't work, then that contract can be settled by a third party. Okay, this is why you have to go to court for a divorce or something like that. There, that's all it is. All right, so take it easy. You got it made if you don't do anything. If you let the contracts add up or something like that, the contracts should benefit both of you. But you have that the person that you're signing the contract with and you as the contract signee. All right, but if you don't have your mind right, you're not going to know that, and you're going to be signing. It's kind of like getting a credit card. Do you know that if you get a credit card, you can't close it? Did you know that? I did not know that. And I got 7 credit cards. I'm like, oh man. At some point, since I'm not paying them, you think they close it? Nope, nope. You got that contract. That credit card is going to stay open. They're going to charge you late fees and all kinds of stuff. You might not pay it, but it's going to end up affecting your credit score. It's a contract. All right. So get your credit cards down to two credit cards. Again, think. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Yeah, you get the credit card. Yeah, you got to do whatever you wanted to do, but they ain't done. Okay, so it's even worse with investments, with the bitcoins and meme coins and stuff like that. There, what people don't know. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and buy some Bitcoin, but the problem with the Bitcoin is you put $10 in. It's just like a bank. You put $100 in Bitcoin. You put $100 in the bank. They will take out $10 and have that set aside for you, but they're going to invest that other $90. So if you go back the next day, if somebody didn't make a deposit or something like that, they're not going to have that $100. Okay, you can go to a bank now and say you want to take out $5,000 of your money. You won't be able to do it. They will not give you that $5,000, and you have to take a check. And it's the same thing with the Bitcoins. If you buy $100 of Bitcoin, they're going to take 10 out and hold it aside for you, and they're going to invest that Bitcoin into 9 other companies. So if you want to cancel that Bitcoin, they got to take the money back from 9 people. Okay, so you're not going to be able. If you got Bitcoin, you'll probably never be able to get rid of it. Okay, unless you find somebody who does the what is that company that will go out and cancel all your subscriptions? You know how, because you have subscriptions that you took a trial for and forgot about it, but they didn't, and they're still taking out their payment because you didn't cancel the trial subscription. I caught one that was doing that to me, because I started to see a recurring payment of $24. This is why they make these subscriptions small amounts. Okay, because they'll take them out if you don't cancel them in 7 days. They'll start taking them out, and you're going to have 3 or 4 of them small payments that might not have that company's name on it. For example, If you go to Ancestry.com, for example, you would think that your payment after 14 days will say Ancestry.com. It won't. Okay? That payment is going to come out after the 7 days free trial. It's going to be in somebody else's name. Okay? So you're not making the connection. That's how they get you. Okay? Tim Cook probably has the rights to my firstborn. You're right. So when I was trying to encourage people how to how to it's because they're a party to stuff they don't even know. All right, because of what I just described. Um, Tim Cook, you might look for a transaction with Tim Cook's name on it, but it won't come across that way. So I was trying to get people to sign up for the class action lawsuits, even if they think they have something to do with it or not. All right, even if they didn't go to Amazon and order something, but the money that came out comes out of uh, another bank. See where I'm coming from with that one? So anyway, okay. Hi, do you have a lease, ma'am? Thanks. Okay. Okay, so all right, so that's what I mean by that. But I'm not encouraging you to be fraudulent. I want you. It was just the way I describe it. I'm not really fancy with words and stuff. But the logarithm that knows what you say on one social media picked that up, and now I'm getting all these uh, cash. You have unclaimed cash, stuff like that there, which you probably do because you paid into a subscription or something and you never used it or something. So that goes to the unclaimed cash thing. Everything is a contract. That's all I'm saying. And the contracts that you sign, you want to become first in line. Is first in time. So Tim Cook may have something in your name, or Tim Cook might have the rights to your firstborn, but you were first in line for that child because you signed it. You signed the birth certificate. Tim Cook did not sign that birth certificate, but he did get the rights to that birth certificate after you signed it. So you are first in line. You want to become a secured party creditor. All right. Now they try to make fun of those people who are secure party creditors by calling them, I don't know, I think they call them sovereign citizens. I know all the sovereign citizen is trying to tell you is that they are first in line. All right. So I want you to learn Taza doctrine. I want you to learn something from Kahan Tazadak, and he'll teach you about the first in line, first in time doctrine. That's all he's saying. And he's been saying it for years, and the reason why he's still there doing that is because he's telling you the truth. Okay? You want to become a paramount security interest holder, PSIH, because you're getting these contracts. You're getting them in line. You're signing for them. Everything that has something to do with your name goes to you. That's all. Not money. You're not going to go anywhere and get a wad of cash like this, being a paramount security interest holder. But you will be able to get a stack of money like this and keep it. This is a republic if you can keep it. But a democracy is if you have a wad of cash like this, where they're going to take some of that, a wad of cash and put it over here, give it over here, do the, what do you call it? What is that society? a communist society or something like that. There, that's what a democracy is. All right, and this is why the Orange Man is doing so swell, because he's operating under a republic, and everything that he gets, he keeps because he's first in line. Get it? This is why his family's doing well. They have some conspiracy theorists about how much his children have made since he's been the president, or his sons and daughters have made. That's because it's a republic, and you should be able to keep what you earn. But democracy is not like that. Democracy is if you make this much, we're going to take some of that and we're going to give it to somebody else. Okay? It's really pretty interesting, but you're going to have to think about yourself. What? Get your mind right. Okay? All right, so are there any more questions? Anybody? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm getting myself another cup of coffee because I had this one and it's kind of cold because I got this one at about 6:30 or something like that there. So what I want to do is I want to go to this little store up here. I'm sitting in front of a construction area. Nobody's coming in here to park except for people who have leases. But anyway, they're doing construction here, and at the end of the construction, there's a convenience store, and I believe it's run by a Jewish person because his name is Swartz. So it's called Swartz Market. So he sells coffee for like $1.50, and the cups are about this big. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I'm going to have to use my own $1.50 because nobody's getting me a cup of coffee. But anyway, I like to go there because on the other side is a coffee place that's kind of set up like a Starbucks, and just like Starbucks, that coffee, it's unique. It has chemicals in it and stuff like that. There, I remember a long time ago, I was looking for a strong cup of coffee. Do you know how difficult it is to get a strong cup of coffee? Anybody? Okay. I was contemplating standing in front of the coffee because I'll try to buy a big canister of it. I won't buy a little jar of instant coffee because I can never get instant coffee to taste right. So I won't do those. So I asked the lady, I said, hey, is any of these coffees really strong? She said, yeah, there is one. It's in a yellow container, like Maxwell House, but it isn't Maxwell House, but it's another brand, and it's yellow. So she actually took the time to tell me. She said, yeah, go and try this. So I tried some, and it was really good. It was a strong coffee, so I put it in a percolator. Okay, so like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll like and subscribe to your channel, or I will subscribe to your channel once I see that you subscribe to mine. So I got it. I enjoyed it, but since my mind wasn't right on it, I went back to buying Maxwell House. This is how they are with their branding and us doing things out of habit. Okay, they're making a fortune off of us. So you want to learn how to get your own fortune. Who was that guy who said people are going to own nothing and they're going to be happy? Okay, now I don't know how many of you know this, but you don't own that home. Okay, that's American dream. To own 2-car garage, a white picket fence, a wife, and 2 or 3 kids. That is the American dream. Do you know how much money they would have made off of you while you're in the process of doing that? While you are pursuing this dream. And then you get it, and something happens and you can't pay the tax on it or something. Guess who gets foreclosed? Guess who gets mortgaged? They foreclose on your mortgage. That's not your house. You have equity title to anything you own, even your children, because you have a birth certificate. So you have equity title on them. And if they at any time find that you are not raising that child in the way that they like, they're going to turn you over to child and youth services, and they're going to come and take them kids. That's what they do, because everything is contract. So if you become a secure party creditor, if you become a paramount security interest holder, you're going to do the paperwork for yourself. You are going to become the beneficiary of anything that has your name on it. Anything. If you didn't cancel your subscription, if your name is on it, you should benefit from that. Okay? Just like if you don't cancel that subscription, they benefit from it and start taking off them payments. Okay? So if you become a secure party creditor or a paramount security interest holder, you get the benefit from that. And you will send that to them and let them know, hey, I am the paramount security interest holder for that name. Put that money back. That's the only way you're going to get it back. All right. And if not, they're just going to take those monthly payments out until you catch it, and you don't get a refund. And if you do get a refund, if they did it to you for 6 months, they'll be like, hey, well, we'll give you 2 months back. That's all. That's all it is. And if you heard me say it, you can understand it. And you can do it yourself. That's all. What else are you doing? Okay, if you're not doing something that's benefiting you, how much of a benefit is it going to be for others who are listening to you? You're influencing people. What benefit is it knowing you? Everything's a contract. Okay. All right. So I love you all. Thank you to the monitor who allowed me to have more people come in. I've been on here for 2 hours and 17 minutes. I thought for sure the logarithm was going to go up and show that there were more people viewing. But anyway, you got your job, and you're doing well. You're actually probably keeping me safe, because I tell you what, I seen a couple of TikToks, and people are really out to lunch. Thank you for having people come through that seem safe, and they are keeping me safe, and they're actually learning from me, because some of these stitches and some of these twitches I've seen, you would not want these people to come past your house. Oh boy, because they're not right. They're sociopaths. They're psychopaths. And I'm grateful that the logarithm is helping me benefit. And I'm doing what I wanted to do. I'm keeping my mind right, and my plan is to speak to people and encourage them. Okay? That's all it is. Okay. Love ya. See ya.